Of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is indeed his messenger. I'd like to greet my sisters and brothers in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. How's everybody doing today? All praises are due to Allah. I'm doing well myself, striving in Allah's name to make my word my bond. Thanking Allah for another opportunity to be a member of the greatest nation that has ever been raised among men. Not a nation with gold or a nation with silver. Not a nation with oil or a nation with some natural resource that's underneath the ground. But the greatest nation, the nation of Islam, because of the truth that Allah revealed to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praises are due to Allah. We are thankful to Almighty God, Allah, raising up a black man. A Georgia-born black man. One that came from the same blood of slaves like we came from. One that caught the same Jim Crowism and the same white supremacy that we caught in America. Yet a man with a third-grade education. A man that had a dime in his pocket and on welfare. A man that considered that dumb and considered that broke. Became a man that confounded all the scholars of science and religion all over the world. A man with a dime in his pocket built an $80 million empire. We thank Almighty God Allah for a supreme example in the personage of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praises are due to Allah for the exalted Christ. And in this hour we live in today, we thank Allah for that great champion among us. That soldier of all soldiers. That man of all men. That diamond in the midst of men. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is in their names that I greet you in the greeting words of peace again of Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of the believers of Muhammad Mile 74 and all the laborers, we are so happy and honored that you took time out of your busy schedule to come and be with us this Sunday morning. We don't want to take a whole lot of time because we've got another program that we have to do in Fort Wayne, Indiana today. I figured that if the white man can have on NBC a doubleheader where Toronto might be playing Cleveland from 10 to 12, and then from 2 to 4 you might have Los Angeles Lakers playing the Phoenix Suns. Then if they can do it in the world of sports and entertainment, maybe we can do a doubleheader for the cause of the resurrection and redemption of the black man and woman. All praise are due to Allah. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad are divine men of God raised to save black people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as can be borne witness by those of us that have read his writing and applied his teaching, and in particular, a pioneer like a Minister Yusuf that heard it from his mouth, he said that you don't have to build up to a point. That when you have a subject, it's not necessary to build up to it, just go right into the point. In other words, not always needed to tiptoe around the tulips. It's not always needed to maneuver through the patch of cabbage. It's not always necessary to beat around the bush. Sometimes you can just go right into a position, right into a subject, right into a point, because black people are catching hell. And because we are catching hell and every mental, psychological, and spiritual formula we have been given is failing us. We are looking for, hungry for, and thirsty for a new idea and concept to deal with the hell we catch in white America. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Islam is readily available in the minds of our people. Have been primed by the hell we've caught for such a message. So today we want to take on a subject titled, A Rose from Concrete. This lecture is designed to bring a higher level of understanding of the black woman for the black man looking at her, but more importantly for the black woman looking at herself. For your and my view that we have of our own self is that which predetermines and pre-writes the way others will view us. If you are thinking that you are weak, then people will see you weak. Is that right? If you think that you are less than, people see you as less than. But you and I, if we think ourselves to be right and exact, strong and powerful, then we will find that we will reflect that vibration from off of our being. And all that come in contact with us will see us as we really are. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never let men inside to teach what is called the MGT class. The MGT and GCC training in the Nation of Islam, it means Muslim Girls Training Class and General Civilizations Class. Is that right? There's something very important about this class because it fulfills the aspect of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work like nothing else does. No matter whether the class was to be held at midnight to 3 in the morning, as a black woman you should be at said class. No matter whether it means that I got to wake up at 4:30 and do 8 different nappy heads. To get to said class, you should get up at 4 in the morning and do 8 nappy heads so you can make it to this class. What is so important about this class? Look at it, brothers and sisters. Here we have a Wednesday night meeting from 7:30 to 9. A Friday night meeting from 7:30 to 9. A Monday night men's training class from 7:30 to 9. A Sunday lecture to inspire us to become what God made us to be from 10 to 12. And a Saturday morning MGT class from 9 to 12. 10 to 12, 2 hours on Sunday. 7:30 to 9 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 1.5 hours. But when it came time to deal with the development of the women in Islam, not an hour and a half, not a 2-hour pocket of the week, but a 3-hour window of time longer than any other meeting that we had. All praise are due to Allah. What is the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? He said that 75% of his work was with the woman. The question must be raised, then what is the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not study group building. The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not just to open up a few grocery stores. The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not just farmland. The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that to be the architect or the designer of a whole new civilization. So Master Farad Muhammad came and gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a formula for the erecting of a whole new civilization. And just as an architect would make a blueprint, that he would tell you to the inch of what needed to be placed in what location and what area could support what weight, and how to build said structure to live and last and survive storms and make it through a certain amount of time and stay in existence. So it is when a man is building a civilization. He has to be an architect and know where to place his message, know where to apply his pressure, know where to invest his energy, know what square footage and what pillar can hold what. And after calculating the methodology to build a whole new world order, he came to the conclusion that 75% of his work is with the black woman. Are y'all with me? The women of this world have been messed up by the men of the world. What is a woman of the world and what is the man of the world? Jesus says, I am in the world, but not of the world. How can you say you are in the world but not of the world, Jesus, when you breathe the same air that we breathe? How can you say that when you eat the same vegetation that comes out of the same earth that we eat? It's because earth and world are two different realities. Earth is the physical while world is the mental and the spiritual. Jesus is saying that I live in the world and breathe the air you breathe. I eat the food that you eat, but my mind does not function off of the thinking that your mind functions off of. Men of the world, women of the world are not defined by the air they breathe, but are defined by the thoughts that they think. And the women of the world are messed up because the men of the world are messed up. And the mind of the world is what messed the men up. Are you all right? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, no, let not no men teach the class. Let women deal with women. And I will give you a curriculum. I will teach you how to keep house. I will teach you how to rear your children. I will teach you, black woman, how to take care of your husband. Oh, that sounds diametrically opposed to the tradition of white America. For a woman has been trained all of her life to find a man that's going to take care of her. But never has she calculated, that there is also a caretaking that a woman does for a man. You've got to maintain, black man. You have to protect because you are created 50% stronger. You have to provide because you are able to move in the world and extract income to maintain. So your job is that is your take care of role. But there's also a take care of a man role that only a woman can do for a man. I don't know how you as a man lay down with another man. How do you hold hands in the movie with another man? How do you kiss another man? How do you hug another man? How do you cry on another man's shoulder? That don't even, I can't even see it. I'm going to tell you this. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, there is no heaven for a black man except for a black woman. You didn't hear what I just said. Prophet Muhammad said that heaven lies at the foot of mother. If heaven is at the foot of the woman and there is no heaven for a black man other than the woman, then we are foolish to be sitting around waiting to die so that we might be able to be taken into outer space, raised from a cemetery and put into some heaven with streets of gold, pearly gates, and drink some milk and some honey. I don't need to go out of space for that. Last I checked, gold is in the earth. Pearls are in the sea, and the sea is in the earth. Is that right? I can go to a cow on earth and get me milk. I can find the bee and find honey from the bee. Is that right? So if the bee has the honey and the cow has the milk and the water has the pearl and the earth has the gold and all of that is already here with me, why do I need to die to get it? And I can have it all right here while I'm walking on top of the ground. All praise are due to Allah. The white man taught us of a heaven after we die so that you and me would be able to deal with the conditions of slavery and keep our sanity. Pick that cotton, Negro. Pick that indigo, Negro. Pick that tobacco from can't see morning to can't see night. Yeah, I raped your woman, but don't worry about it. You're going to go to heaven one day. Yeah, I killed your mother, but don't worry about it. You'll be in heaven with her one day. Yeah, I raped your son, but don't worry about it. You'll see him one day. And we were given that psychological duping by our slave master to help us to cope with the conditions that he imposed on us for 400 years. Is that right? So the white man used it to curb a Nat Turner, to curb a Denmark Vesey, to curb a Gabriel Prosser, and to stop a revolt from among the slaves. Because see, once a black man or woman learns that I ain't got but one life to live, then it ain't easy for you to play with that life. It ain't easy for you to abuse and to kill my family and me not do nothing about it. All praises are due to Allah. The white man used the same formula for sexism as he used for racism. Here it is, God comes and says, keep a house, right? Rear children. Take care of your husband. Sew. Cook. And in general, act. Right? At home. And abroad. Is that right? He didn't say how to become a businesswoman. He didn't say, not that you can't do that, but he knew that that's what was wrong with us. Is that we had our priorities out of place. We were more concerned with the money that we had in our pocket than the quality of sons and daughters we brought into the world. We were more concerned with the house that we lived in more than the home that was inside of that house. A house is not a home. And a home is not a house. Bible teaches it. Quran teaches it. And so did Luther Vandross. Huh? Yes, he did. A chair is still a chair. Even when there's no one sitting there. A room is still a room. Is that right? But a house is not a home when there's no one there. So we have gotten into archways, chandeliers, vaulted ceilings, theaters in our basement, decks off the back with grills, ponds with boats. Is that right? Granite and marble tops. Sinks that cut on when you put your hand under. Islands in our kitchen. Stainless steel appliances. Huh? You know I'm telling the truth. Spiral staircases with an old glass back in. And you got marble tile. You got a pretty floor. You got a beautiful couch. Piano in the living room. Chandeliers, but there's no light on in the head of the man that's in your home, and no light on in the head of the woman in the home, so the children are not reflecting the sun and the moon. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was given this methodology by Master Farad Muhammad. How did he know that this formula would work on helping to build the black woman? Because Master Farad Muhammad's father had already tried the formula out on a woman that was by nature a devil. You didn't hear what I just said? There in your Bible you read about Jesus casting 7 devils out of a woman. This was not Jesus literally going to a person and making dark, invisible goblins float up out of her. But this is a parable that describes what Master Farad Muhammad's father had to do to get rid of the nature of wickedness found in the white woman that he chose to marry to produce a savior for black people. He had to make a man that looked like a white man. Yes, he did. Because you and me have been trained and programmed to think everything that is black is negative and everything that is white is good in nature. So if a black man came in 1930, hell, if a black man came in 2006 and knocked on your door and said, hey, brother or sister, how you doing? I'm Jesus the Christ. I've come to save you and your family. You who? Hold on a minute. 911. There's a nigga at my door talking about he Jesus, man. Somebody come get him. Is that right? Why? Because you and me have been trained mentally, and we have been programmed on a subconscious level to separate black from good, black from right, black from divine. So every time we think angel, the first image that pops in our mind is smooth-skinned white people with wings on their back. Am I telling the truth? When I say Jesus, the first image that pops up in your mind is a stringy-haired, blonde-haired, stale-faced, buttermilk-complected cracker as the Savior. If I say the disciples, you think white man. If I say Last Supper, you think 13 white men. Where were the black people at? I guess they was in the kitchen getting the meal ready for the disciples. Where were the women at? Huh? So you and me, we are taught black negative, white positive, white pure, white innocent, white clean, white moral. Is that right? But whenever you say black, it's always something bad going on. You the black sheep of your family, you ain't getting along. Is that right? You got blackballed, you got kicked out. Is that right? Stock market crashed, it was Black Monday. If you're illegally selling a good or a service, it's on the black market. Is that right? Whenever you watch the cowboy movie, the good guys wear white and the bad guys always wear black. When someone gets married, a celebration, white. But when it's time for a funeral, everybody put on black. When you go to get angel food cake, it's white cake and white icing. But devil food cake is chocolate cake with chocolate icing. So the minute that a man like Farrakhan stands up and performs miracles on the masses of black people, and someone comes and says, that's a man of God, that's a righteous man, he's written of in Bible and Holy Quran, because of the subconscious rejection of black and white, you can't see him as he is. So he's among his own, but his own don't receive him not. He's a light shining in the darkness, but the darkness don't comprehend it. Why? Because they've been trained to reject everything that look like themselves. Oh, praise due to Allah. The diabolical system that the white man used to establish racism. And for the record, racism is never black against white. For the record, it's impossible for you to be a black racist. This is the reason why anytime a black person is talking too strong for white folks, they say that's reverse racism. If it's reverse racism, then the standard for racism is white folks against black people. Racist or racism is prejudice times power. You didn't hear me. Black people may be able to prejudge, but we don't have the power to deny any man or woman life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, freedom, justice, and equality, because we don't run nothing. We can't be racist. But the white man had an attitude, and he knew that the social law stated that if you have an attitude and you allow it to remain, then you can harden it into a belief system. And a belief system hardens into a law. And laws are that which govern people, that which shape and mold the minds of people, that which create governments and policies. So the attitude the white man had was, I am better, because I'm a white man. But that wasn't good enough, because somehow, some way, history had already recorded that the Egyptians were the fathers of medicine, that the Egyptians were the architect of civilization, that the Egyptians had math and music, they had trade and commerce, they had sewer systems and pipelines, they flew planes 500 years before Jesus was born. So that idea that white was superior was recorded in history to be opposite of that. So they had to take and find something that would be more powerful than history. And there's no wisdom more powerful than history than that which comes, except that which comes from the mouth of God. Y'all didn't hear me? So since history shows you the mother of civilization, since history shows you the queen of the planet Earth, since history shows you the God of the universe, you the maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, since that's what history shows, I've got to find a way to insert my attitude into the scripture and use God and Jesus and the prophet's good name to hide my filthy religion. Are y'all all right? So the white man took and manipulated the Bible. Now you read about a cursed seed of Ham. Noah laughed, or Ham laughed at his father's drunkenness and nakedness. So his seed was cursed black. Huh? But it was black people before the flood. What color was Adam? If he was born on the Nile River. Huh? The original man and woman, the Adam and Eve, had to be black people. If they were not black, then white folks couldn't be here right now. It's impossible for Eve to be a white woman and Adam to be a white man. Their own scientists bear witness. Newtonian law. That you can get the recessive from the dominant, but you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. Black is dominant and white is recessive. So if the original man and woman was white, black people can't come. But if the original man and woman is black, you can find the red man. You can get from the black the brown man. You can get from the black the yellow man. And even from the black you can get the white man. Are y'all all right? So he created a Hamitic curse. Right? Now, first of all, God didn't do the cursing. Even if we ride with your idea. Noah did it, and Noah was drunk when he did it. Huh? That's what it says. It says in the modern Negro translation of the Bible that Ham laughed at his pops while his pops had just got finished nailing 2 pints of wild Irish red rose, and while pops was naked and tipsy, he said, stumbling and stuttering, use a nigga. Modern translation. But a man that's drunk or is not speaking in their right frame of mind. Everybody in here got a drunk in their family. Huh? Drunk daddy, drunk uncle, drunk brother-in-law, drunk granddaddy. You know I'm telling the truth. And mama got to console you after granddaddy the drunk, or uncle the drunk, or daddy the drunk get home. Baby, he don't mean that. What did she say? That ain't him talking, that's that alcohol talking. If Ham was cursed and his seed was cursed black, why then did not Jesus be called cursed? He was born after the curse. So is Jesus a cursed man too? No, but this was an attitude of white supremacy that history had killed, that they needed a higher ideal to promote. So they used the belief system and the name of God and the scripture of God to promote white supremacy. Slave, obey your master. That ain't God talking. That's the white man talking. You cannot serve 2 masters. You got to love one, hate the other. Yet you got to follow the white slave master. In other words, make him a God besides God. That ain't Jesus talking. That's the white man talking in Jesus' name to promote slavery and white supremacy. So now the white man attitude of white supremacy brings birth to a belief system of white supremacy. Yes, it did. And from that belief system came laws. So now the Constitution of white America writes you and me down as 3/5 of a human being. Where did you get it from? What if they are the cursed seed of Ham? Huh? See? And God said it. Then surely God knows best, so these are savages and animals. Well, the white man used that to establish racism, but he used the same process to make sexism. The attitude was, and is, that women are less than men. Is that right? So a man, whenever there's respect to be shown, he's called Mr. So-and-so. But you, as a black woman or a woman, when they refer to you in a so-called term of endearment and respect, Miss so-and-so. But to miss means that you made a mistake. To miss thing means that something went wrong. Why? Because men always wanted boy children, never wanted female children. In some nations, they would kill the female children and spare the males. I don't know the logic, because if you killed a female, how then would that man that you say is so powerful make another man without the womb of the man called the woman? So because they seen you as less and you were a miss, that was an attitude, but they needed a belief system to support it. So now the first book of the Bible, Genesis, talks about a woman called Eve. And Eve is blamed for the fall of humanity. If it wasn't for that no good woman, man would have been all right. If it wasn't for that woman, we would have been okay. This is what they preach. Am I telling the truth? So now out of that belief system that came from the attitude, laws was developed. Am I right? The laws that were developed says, women, you can't vote. That was a law. Woman, you can't go to school. Woman, you can't teach. Woman, you can't run your own business. Woman, you can't stand in the pulpit. Woman, you can't lead people. So out of the belief system that came from an attitude, laws were made. And just as racism, y'all with me, has been established from an attitude to a law, so as sexism. This is why I don't see how you can ever, as a black man, be with a white woman. Here you got a woman that has a double negative against her. She has to deal with the attitude that became a law of racism as a black woman. And then on the other side, an attitude that became a law of sexism as a black woman. You are a hypocrite. You are a coward to get a white woman instead of a black woman with all the hell that she's gone through. I'm going to tell you something. Any black man with a white woman is close to being a sissy. I'm telling you straight up. Every man you see with a white woman is a weak man. All praises are due to Allah. The black woman is created by Allah, God, to test you, to try you, to demand of you the expectation. It is written in her DNA, she can't do nothing about it. But a white woman ain't made like that. She ain't built like that. She is a pushover woman. She's a weak woman. She's stale-faced. She's easy to maneuver and manipulate. She'll take the hit in the eye and won't do nothing about it. She'll give you a credit card. Am I telling the truth? You can cheat on her. You can lie on her. You can abuse her. She'll work for you. Let you drive her car. So when a man becomes with a man that wants a white woman, it's because he's weak. And if you ever see a black man that's been with a white woman for a long period of time, she begins to cultivate and develop that X chromosome in that man. And you start seeing a woman pop up out the man. He starts getting soft. Don't he? I watched a fight last night. I don't know if I was right, but I was rooting for the white boy. hope the white boy whoop him. Because the brother had a white girl. Huh? He was talking all white. Jesus loves me less. Yes, I know. T-shirts on. Come out there with a white classical Jesus song. I said, I hope the white boy whoop me. I don't know if that's right. I'm not saying you should try that. Go ahead. But I'm being honest with you. And the white boy did whoop him. Huh? And when you listen to the brother in the interview, he sound like a sissy. I mean, he was all beat up too. That bandages. He said, what can I say? What do you want me to say? Really, Klitschko, he's just a really, really tough guy. He's a really, really powerful man. He really just got the best of me. I never was in the fight. He hit me with a lot of good, strong blows. A black man don't talk like that. A black man might not, if he do the interview. Before, I'm talking about pre-white woman, Chris Bird. Pre-white woman, Chris Bird. Yeah, he got me this time. That's all right, though. I got a new strategy. Huh? What was he stronger than you? Oh, no. By no means now. No, I'm not saying all that. What I'm saying is that it was just his night. He got me with a good shot. But are you asking, is he stronger than me? No, sir. No, sir. Huh? Well, but look at your face. That can happen. It happens. You know, it happens. But we'll see next time. I got to go. This is the new white girl version of it. I've got to go home and talk to my wife and my mom and dad and my mother-in-law and my dad-in-law. And I just want to see if I believe I have boxing left in me, but I want to see what she thinks. Two and a few inches away from being a homosexual. I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you, real, very, very near correct. Okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch. What is it about this black woman? And this thing with Eve was used as a scapegoat to try to blame the woman for the fall of man. Y'all all right? Women have been made into an inferior object because Genesis 2:20 says that, sister, while Adam was asleep, did y'all hear me? Yes, sir. That God came to Adam and took his rib out. Huh? And began to form around the rib. I'm telling you what you see. You see a big guy with a rib and a baby tornado in the desert. And all of a sudden a woman start coming up off the dirt into the form of a rib. This creation of woman from a rib is not a physical thing. It's a spiritual definition. Did you hear me? If it's physical, then why is not the rest of us as men children of Adam? Why don't we have a rib missing? It's 12 ribs on the left and the right side. Is that right? And you've got 12 on your left and right side. If one was taken from us to make you, maybe you should have 13 on one side and we should have 11. But the fact that we all got 12 ribs means that it's got to be a spiritual thing. Prophet Muhammad wrote in the hadith, he said, treat women kindly. Woman has been created from a rib, and the most bent part of the rib is the uppermost. If you try to turn her straight, you will break her. And if you leave it alone, it will remain as it is. So treat women kindly. Why open up talking about kindliness? Close talking about kindliness. It's because the rib is a description of a spiritual attribute. The rib physically protects the heart. It's the closest bone to the heart. It protects the heart and the lungs. Why? Because you as a woman are born the closest object to the heart of God. You are born to protect the love and the compassion and the patience and the forgiveness and the long suffering of a whole nation of people. All praise are due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. Prophet Muhammad said the rib is been at the uppermost part. What is the uppermost part of a human being? It is their mind. And what is in the mind? The nature is in the mind. Meaning that you, black man, don't try to make your woman to have your nature. She don't think like you. And you don't think like her. We are two twin halves of a single essence. But the two married together become one flesh. Is that right? But she has what you don't have and you have what she don't have. Y'all with me? She was created emotional/rational, while you were created rational/emotional. If you were to do the multiplication of fractions, R over E times E over R, the E of the numerator and the denominator in each one cancel each other out and become one. And the R's cancel and become one. 1 over 1 is 1. We become one when we together. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, do not try to make your woman over. She is born of a different nature than you are. You can be a woman and a warrior. You can be a sister and a soldier. You should be a lady and a liberator, a female and a fighter. But your battlefield ain't the exact same battlefield as the man. Your battlefield ain't to go out into the white man's world chasing no money. Your battlefield is to be a mother to the children. Your battlefield is the mind of the sons and the daughters that are under your control. That is your terrain, black woman. And a mother is better than a doctor. A mother is better than a lawyer. A mother is better than a chemist. A mother is better than a prophet of God. Ain't nothing greater than a mother. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that there is some truth to this rib out of man concept. However, it doesn't mean what it says. He said that Allah God is self-created. That God created himself. That's a whole nother 5 lectures. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Allah God was self-created. Who else would have created him? Who could have made the God and then the God be called more powerful than the one that made him? He had to make himself. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that the first act of creation was a woman. Y'all with me? He said that Allah God created himself out of what was called triple darkness. Material darkness. The Holy Quran calls it black mud, fashioned into shape. Black mud. Triple darkness, not the absence of light, but a material substantive matter. But it had no aim, it had no purpose. So it was called nothing. But God made himself out of the black mud of the universe and became a black man, and then from himself created a mate for himself out of himself. And that mate was called a woman. He needed a mate. You didn't hear what I just said? He could have made another man if he wanted to, but he didn't make a man. He made a woman from himself. Y'all all right? So, before the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, and the vegetation and plant and animal life, black woman, you was here. Y'all didn't hear me? So there was a time in history when there was nothing but a God and a black woman. And that God was with this black woman, and that black woman submitted to her man. So if that man she submitted to was God, and a Muslim is one that submits their will to do the will of God, then black woman, you were the first Muslim. All praise are due to Allah. This is the reason why a man loves the form of a woman more than a woman loves the form of a man. Y'all ain't got to bear witness if you don't want to. Are y'all all right? Are y'all all right? The Holy Quran describes the male parts as excrements. But the Holy Quran describes those female parts as the adornments. Huh? Base word of an adornment is that which is adored. You and me, male, we got excrements, that's just something. But she's got adornments, meaning that her anatomy is adored by the man. Whenever the man sees a woman, it draws him more than when a woman sees a man. Why? Because that first originator of that God was self-created, and he was a man. And when that man began to look at a mate for himself, he had the opportunity to go to the drawing board and bring out of his own imagination a form and a figure exactly what he was looking for. So when he created the curve and the dip, when he created the texture of the skin, the whiteness of the teeth, the hair, everything about the woman came out of the mind of a man. So when a man sees a woman, you are exactly what he wanted from the beginning of time, versus you never creating a man. You don't have that same feeling. All praise are due to Allah. You say, I don't need to go that far back to know if I'm a real woman, and I don't need to go that far back to know how to deal with my woman. We got to go far back, black man and woman. Because if you don't go far back, you might have a counterfeit man or a counterfeit woman in front of you, but you don't know what real look like. Huh? How does an appraiser know counterfeit money from real money? How does an appraiser know counterfeit jewelry or painting from the real jewelry or the real painting? It's because they have done a thorough, in-depth study of the original money and the original jewelry and the original painting. I'm saying, black man and woman, if we don't do a thorough, in-depth study of what the first black woman looked like and what the first black man looked like, we will find ourselves marrying counterfeit and looking in the mirror at counterfeit men and women for the rest of our life and never becoming the real man and a real woman that Allah made. Right now, by not having a thorough knowledge of yourself, think over it. That same diabolical scheme to establish racism was used for sexism. By us as a people not having a thorough knowledge of ourselves, then we have been left to be defined by our enemies. So in our original definition, we are the Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. But we don't know that. So we accept the title Negro. We accepted the title colored person. Is that right? We accepted the title now African American. But you can't find it nowhere on the globe. A mixture between two different lands. I guess we in the middle of the water. Is that right? But we don't have a thorough knowledge of self, so we are at the beckoning definition of an enemy of ours. What about you, black woman? When you don't do a thorough study of what the original woman looked like, then a sexist-minded man can make you into anything he want to make you. Call you whatever he want to call you. And because you don't know who you really are, you will ride with his definition. Have we not done it? The white man gave us the name Negro as a title to define a completed process of taking a God into a savage. He took us and divided us up for 64 years, put male against female, young against old, light against dark, killed off a generation, and turned us away from our original culture. And as a result, the finished product was Negro. Is that right? Well, what about you, black woman? 38, 24, 36. All you are now is your physical body? Huh? All you are now is a video vixen? All you are now is a hoochie mama? All you are now is bootylicious? We know the measurement of the breast. We know the measurement of the waist. You are like the yin-yang twins. Define what you as a woman. Huh? Who said a dime? Y'all know the song. That's top of the line. Cute face. Little waist. With a big behind. Who said that that was the definition of a dime? Or a 10? Or the highest grade of a female? What is the measurement of your mind? What is the measurement of your character and your virtue? That's what a real woman looks like. All praises are due to Allah. We got to try to wrap it up real quick. Are y'all all right? We got a double header today. We got to go to Fort Wayne. You say, sister, how else am I going to get me a man if I don't show him a little something? I need a companion. I need a companion. I'm starting to get up in age now. I'm 22. My biological clock is ticking. The problem with men and women of this world is that we are more concerned with a female or male companion than the real companion we should be thinking about. Before you ever had a woman that was a companion with you, black man, and before you ever had a man that was a companion with you, the Holy Quran says that I, Allah, created you in the womb of your mother. So the original companion was God. The Bible, Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee. Huh? That means that God was the original companion for the man and for the woman. You and me are looking for a woman, looking for a man, and ain't found God yet. So when we get a man and get a woman and think they can do for us only what God can do, we find ourselves hurt, frustrated, disappointed, let down. Why? Because a man can't do for you, black woman, what God can do, and a woman can't do what God can do for you, black man. All praise are due to Allah. Companionship has gotten so crazy. The quest for it has gotten so crazy that it has you showing things you shouldn't show. Is that right? It has you doing things you shouldn't do. Is that right? It has you doing it way too early. Is that right? It has you compromising your own integrity, compromising your own virtue, because your mind says, man, I want him to be mine. I want him to be mine. I really do like him a lot. Not love him, but I like him a lot. And I know if I don't give him some, somebody's going to. So I don't want to deny him and lose him too. So you lay down with no love in your heart. Compromising God. A woman will test you, black man. A woman want to know what you're made of. Sometimes you think that a woman really loves you. That's why she's trying to pull you. She's testing you to see what you made of. Don't no woman want you to compromise God for her. If a woman can make you bow down to her instead of God, you ain't no man in her eyes. All praise is due to Allah. Here you are, you bending your principles, compromising the will of God for the sake of a companionship. And now you got a woman that don't look up to you no more. A woman that don't respect you no more. Because you would do God's will, but you did other than God's will. And you wonder why we catching so much hell. A woman, am I telling the truth? A woman want a real man that loves God and a mission above her. That's what a woman wants. All praise is due to Allah. Do you know how dangerous it is to have sex before you get married? It's dangerous. You say, well, you're talking to a lot of people. It's a little too late for us now. We didn't pretty. I'm going to tell you what Jesus said. You cannot enter the kingdom of heaven unless you be born again. In other words, we got to start over. Because we done messed up pretty bad. We got to rewind and redo it all over again. That's why it's so absolutely necessary that you eat right long enough so you can live long enough to undo the pain of yesterday and make a good future for your family. I'm telling you, we got to do it. It's dangerous to have sex before you get married. Why? Because the book of Mark, God says that when you marry, or whenever a person is married, it says that they will leave their wife or their mother and father and cleave unto the wife, or cleave also unto the husband, and the two become one flesh. Since Allah does not know how to logically rationalize sex before marriage, it's dangerous to give yourself up to a man or to lay down with a woman that you don't plan on being with. Because when you lay down, since God's logic is the two become one flesh, some of him is in you. And some of you is in him. And we having a hard time being married now. Because we ain't never been single. We still carrying around the Negroes. The women and the men from high school still have made an investment inside of our soul. Are you all right? When a woman is a virgin, that first act, man, it's dangerous to play with that. Because that first act, in normal terms, a little blood comes out from her to him. Saying what? That as the sperm is blood and as the blood from her is hers, then the two touch each other. Meaning I'm giving you my life. And I'm taking your life. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to play with that. Because when we play with it, we wind up having other people inside of ourselves. So we say Allah came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad. He intervened in our affairs. Because we had some affairs. With a girlfriend and a boyfriend. Affairs with people that might not have been a husband or a wife or a boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. But I thank Allah for Master Farah Muhammad's coming. For he intervenes in the affairs that messed up our life from the original form and bad decisions we made. All praises are due to Allah. In closing, family, why are we talking about a rose from out of concrete? Have you ever wondered how does a weed make it through the asphalt? How does a blade of grass bust through the concrete? As heavy and strong and durable as it is, and how weak a blade of grass is? It's not because it penetrates the concrete, but what it does, it grows sideways until it finds an opening or a crack in the concrete that it can come out of. And that's what has happened to you, black woman. The cold, hard world that men have created has oppressed you. And it's become a layer of concrete over your skills, gifts, and talents. So you've been growing sideways, trying to find an opening or a crack in the world to come out so that you can express yourself. And the only crack you found was being in a video. The only crack you found was advertising your body on a commercial. The only crack you found was being a pleasure toy for men. Is that right? So that crack is the only one available, and you came about. I'm saying we need to bypass that crack and come out of the right crack and the right hole. And us that's true men, we need to bust the concrete all the way up so we ain't got to send them through all that hell. All praise are due to Allah. Why is it that a rose touches a woman so much? Because a rose and a woman are the same. Are y'all all right? A rose, in order for it to grow, look at this, y'all. It needs a full day of sun.
There's a lot of flowers in creation that can get a couple hours of sun a day and be all right. But a rose needs a full day of sun and a whole lot of water. Y'all with me? That means that the planter has to be wise in where he plants the rose. That means that the planter has to spend a lot of care and a lot of attention on making sure that the adequate amount of water is given to that which he is trying to grow. Huh? There's a sign in that for us, black man. Are y'all with me? Number two, a rose must be planted where it avoids competition from roots of other plants. Number three, that a rose grows better in a raised soil bed that has natural and organic matter inside the soil. Are y'all with me? You and me, do you know that sunshine is a metaphor for joy and happiness? Sunshine is a metaphor for a smile on your face. She's the type of creature that needs compliments. She's the type of creature that needs smile and joy and peace and happiness. You cannot get a woman with money. You cannot get a real woman with money. You cannot keep a woman with money. Prophet Muhammad said it like this, that you will not attract people unto yourself by your wealth, but by, hey, look at this now, a cheerful smile or a cheerful face and good character. You and me are looking to buy a woman this, buy her that, buy her this, and wonder why she's still complaining. She don't want the thing, she want the real thing. She want more joy and happiness than she do items. All praises are due to Allah. The rose has to be planted where it avoids competition from roots of other plants. That's a bad decision, black man, to tell your woman you should be like her. Bad decision. It's a bad decision to get into the heat of an argument and say, you know what, I mean, it was a lot of bad things that my ex had, but it was one thing I always loved about Judy. Judy always knew how. Not a good decision to have that rose planted in an environment where it has to compete with the roots of other plants. It should be, the rose needs to be in a raised soil bed with natural and organic matter. Y'all all right? Meaning that the food you eat, black woman, should be the best food. Natural and organic food. The thoughts you think must be natural and organic. You say, what is natural and organic thoughts? It's not Jerry Springer. No, it is not. It's not Maury. No, it is not. I'm telling you, it is not as the world turns. Because the soap operas is the one that messed the world up. Giving you an artificial image of what life looked like. Don't nobody work on the soap opera. Huh? Everybody rich. Ghosts and stuff coming back. Bo Derek been dead for 9 years. All of a sudden he come back to the episode. It's not real. Do you know that the owners of the soap operas are Procter & Gamble? And Procter & Gamble are announced and pronounced devil worshippers? If you add up all of the titles, you'll see the story. See, as the world turns, all of our children are growing up to become the young and the restless. Huh? And they wind up in the general hospital because they never found the guiding light. That's what's happening to us. All praise are due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. Don't feed your mind the dirt opera. Don't feed your mind the immoral talk shows. And don't feed your mind these artificial novel love stories. that got your mind paralyzed and crippled into an illusionary world. Next thing you know, you trying to be Stella going to Jamaica to get your groove back, when you need to come to the mosque to get your groove back and your mind right. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. In closing, brothers and sisters, in closing, and we through. In closing, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, if you treat your mind like a garbage pail, then you will produce nothing but maggots and flies. If you want to get a good man, be a good woman. Hold fast to your virtue. If you want to be a rose growing out of the midst of concrete, stand strong, but keep your thorns sharp. You just can't go grab no rose any old kind of way, because it has a built-in defense mechanism. Get your morals back right. Get your dress back right. Get your language back right. And develop the thorns that keep no good men out of your life. Thank you for listening. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. All praise are due to Allah. All praise are due to Allah. Thank you, family. Thank you, brothers and sisters. All praise are due to Allah. Everybody all right? All praise are due to Allah. As a black woman, you should be at said class. No matter whether it means that I got to wake up at 4:30 and do 8 different nappy heads. To get to said class, you should get up at 4 in the morning and do 8 nappy heads so you can make it to this class. What is so important about this class? Look at it, brothers and sisters. Here we have a Wednesday night meeting from 7:30 to 9. A Friday night meeting from 7:30 to 9. A Monday night men's training class from 7:30 to 9. A Sunday lecture to inspire us to become what God made us to be from 10 to 12. And a Saturday morning MGT class from 9 to 12. 10 to 12, 2 hours on Sunday. 7:30 to 9 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 1.5 hours. But when it came time to deal with the development of the women in Islam, not an hour and a half, not a 2-hour pocket of the week, but a 3-hour window of time longer than any other meeting that we had. All praise are due to Allah. What is the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? He said that 75% of his work was with the woman. The question must be raised, then what is the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not study group building. The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not just to open up a few grocery stores. The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not just farmland. The work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that to be the architect or the designer of a whole new civilization. So Master Farad Muhammad came and gave the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a formula for the erecting of a whole new civilization. And just as an architect would make a blueprint, that he would tell you to the inch of what needed to be placed in what location and what area could support what weight, and how to build said structure to live and last and survive storms and make it through a certain amount of time and stay in existence. So it is when a man is building a civilization. He has to be an architect and know where to place his message, know where to apply his pressure, know where to invest his energy, know what square footage and what pillar can hold what. And after calculating the methodology to build a whole new world order, he came to the conclusion that 75% of his work is with the black woman. Are y'all with me? The women of this world have been messed up by the men of the world. What is a woman of the world and what is the man of the world? Jesus says, I am in the world, but not of the world. How can you say you are in the world but not of the world, Jesus, when you breathe the same air that we breathe? How how can you say that when you eat the same vegetation that comes out of the same earth that we eat? It's because earth and world are two different realities. Earth is the physical, while world is the mental and the spiritual. Jesus is saying that I live in the world and breathe the air you breathe. I eat the food that you eat. But it is in their names that I greet you in the greeting words of peace again of Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of the believers of Muhammad Mosque 74 and all the laborers, we are so happy and honored that you took time out of your busy schedule to come and be with us this Sunday morning. We don't want to take a whole lot of time because we've got another program that we have to do in Fort Wayne, Indiana today. I figured that if the white man can have on NBC a doubleheader where Toronto might be playing Cleveland from 10 to 12, and then from 2 to 4 you might have Los Angeles Lakers playing the Phoenix Suns. Then if they can do it in the world of sports and entertainment, maybe we can do a doubleheader for the cause of the resurrection and redemption of the black man and woman. All praise are due to Allah. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad are divine men of God raised to save black people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as can be borne witness by those of us that have read his writing and applied his teaching, and in particular a pioneer like a Minister Yusuf that heard it from his mouth, he said that you don't have to build up to a point. That when you have a subject, it's not necessary to build up to it, just go right into the point. In other words, not always needed to tiptoe around the tulips. It's not always needed to maneuver through the patch of cabbage. It's not always necessary to beat around the bush. Sometimes you can just go right into a position, right into a subject, right into a point, because black people are catching hell. And because we are catching hell and every mental, psychological, and spiritual formula we have been given is failing us, we are looking for, hungry for, and thirsty for a new idea and concept to deal with the hell we catch in white America. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's Islam is readily available in the minds of our people, have been primed by the hell we've caught for such a message. So today we want to take on a subject titled, A Rose from Concrete. This lecture is designed to bring a higher level of understanding of the black woman for the black man looking at her, but more importantly for the black woman looking at herself. For your and my view that we have of our own self is that which predetermines and pre-writes the way others will view us. If you are thinking that you are weak, then people will see you weak. Is that right? If you think that you are less than, people see you as less than. But you and I, if we think ourselves to be right and exact, strong and powerful, then we will find that we will reflect that vibration from off of our being. And all that come in contact with us will see us as we really are. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never let men inside to teach what is called the MGT class. The MGT and GCC training in the Nation of Islam, it means Muslim girls training class and general civilizations class. Is that right? There's something very important about this class because it fulfills the aspect of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work like nothing else does. No matter whether the class was to be held at midnight to 3 in the morning. Of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is indeed his messenger. I'd like to greet my sisters and brothers in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. How's everybody doing today? All praises are due to Allah. I'm doing well myself, striving in Allah's name to make my word my bond. Thanking Allah for another opportunity to be a member of the greatest nation that has ever been raised among men. Not a nation with gold or a nation with silver. Not a nation with oil or a nation with some
natural resource that's underneath the ground. But the greatest nation, the nation of Islam, because of the truth that Allah revealed to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praises are due to Allah. We are thankful to Almighty God, Allah, raising up a black man, a Georgia-born black man, one that came from the same blood of slaves like we came from, one that caught the same Jim Crowism and the same white supremacy that we caught in America. Yet a man with a third-grade education, a man that had a dime in his pocket and on welfare, a man that considered that dumb and considered that broke, became a man that confounded all the scholars of science and religion all over the world. A man with a dime in his pocket built an $80 million empire. We thank Almighty God, Allah, for a supreme example in the personage of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praises are due to Allah for the exalted Christ. And in this hour we live in today, we thank Allah for that great champion among us, that soldier of all soldiers, that man of all men, that diamond in the midst of men, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.